Quick question. Have you actually logged into your student loan account this month? Because if you haven't, there's a good chance your payment just changed, and you won't find out until the bill hits and it's already too late to plan for it. Here's what's happening right now. In real numbers, millions of borrowers are being moved onto new repayment terms. At the same time, inflation just ticked back up to its highest pace in a few years. Credit card debt in this country just crossed $1.25 trillion. And more than half of Americans, I mean the actual majority of this country, now say they're living paycheck to paycheck. This isn't one bad headline. This is 3 or 4 pressures hitting at the exact same time. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what changed, why it's happening now, what it means for your budget, and most importantly, 5 specific moves you can make this month to protect yourself. Number 4 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's the one that actually saves people the most money. Let's get into it. Let's start with the loans, because this is the most time-sensitive piece. Back in 2020, federal student loan payments were paused. Most of you remember that. That pause eventually ended, and since then, the system has been in this multi-year transition period. Old repayment plans phasing out, new ones phasing in, income-driven plans getting restructured. As of this year, that transition is hitting its next major phase. Millions of borrowers who are on certain repayment plans are being moved into new programs, and depending on which plan you land on, your monthly payment can look completely different than what you were paying even 6 months ago. Now here's the part that surprises people. This isn't just affecting recent graduates in their 20s. The average borrower running into trouble with this transition is closer to 40 years old. These are people with mortgages, with kids, with careers, not people fresh out of school with nothing but a diploma and free time to figure it out. And the stakes here are real. New data on defaults shows millions of additional borrowers were moved into default status just in the first few months of this year alone, on top of roughly 1 million more who defaulted in the back half of last year. When a loan goes into default, it's not just a bad month. Credit scores for people going through this have dropped by close to 90 points on average. That's the difference between qualifying for a decent auto loan rate and getting rejected outright, or between a normal mortgage rate and a much more expensive one. So step 1, before we go any further, this is not a maybe I'll deal with it later situation. If you have federal student loans, this is a check it this week situation. We'll cover exactly how in the move section. Here's why this loan change is landing so hard right now. It's not happening in a vacuum. There are 3 other pressures stacking on top of it at the exact same time. Pressure 1, inflation is heating back up. For a while, price increases had been cooling off, but the most recent numbers show inflation accelerating again, running close to 3.8% over the past year. That's the fastest pace we've seen in a few years. And it's not evenly spread. Energy costs have jumped dramatically. Gas prices alone are up close to 28% over the past year in some readings. Food costs are climbing too. Even stripping out the volatile stuff like food and energy, prices are still rising well above what the Federal Reserve considers healthy. What does that actually mean for you? It means the same paycheck buys less than it did a year ago. Before we even talk about a new loan payment on top of it, Pressure 2, credit card debt is at record levels. Total credit card balances in this country are sitting around $1.25 trillion. Total household debt overall, mortgages, autos, credit cards, everything combined, is now approaching $19 trillion. And credit card interest rates right now are near record highs. So if people are leaning on credit cards to cover the gap created by inflation and new loan payments, that debt is compounding faster than almost any point in recent memory. Pressure 3, buy now, pay later has quietly become mainstream. Recent survey data shows that roughly half of Americans have used installment or buy now, pay later plans for online purchases. And it's heaviest among lower-income households, exactly the group with the least room to absorb a payment shock. These plans feel harmless because they split a purchase into small chunks. But stack 4 or 5 of them at once on top of a new loan payment, and people lose track of how much they actually owe until it's already a problem. And underneath all three of these pressures is the headline number that ties it together. More than half of Americans, the majority of the country, now say they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's up sharply from just a few years ago. And more than a third describe their financial situation as struggling or in crisis. That's roughly 88 million adults. So when we talk about a student loan payment going up by $100 or $200 a month for a huge share of this country, there is no cushion left to absorb that. That's why this moment matters. And that's why I wanted to make this video right now instead of waiting. Now, I know this so far has been a lot of here's the bad news. I'm not going to leave you there. Everything from this point forward is about what you actually do about it. So if you skipped ahead, come back, because this next part is the whole reason to watch this video. Before the action steps, quickly, 3 groups getting squeezed the hardest right now. See if you recognize yourself. Group 1, renters. Renters are struggling to make rent more than homeowners are struggling with their mortgage. If you're renting and juggling a new loan payment, you're in the tightest spot. Group 2, single income households. Married dual income households have stayed relatively stable financially over the past few years. Single adults have seen their financial strain jump dramatically in that same window. If you're managing this alone, budgeting needs to be tighter, not looser. Group 3, anyone who was current on their loans before 2020. This is the group getting blindsided hardest by defaults right now. People who had a clean track record, went through the pandemic pause, and are now hitting repayment for the first time in years without realizing their plan or payment has changed. If you're in one or more of these groups, pay extra attention to Move 4 coming up. It's the one built specifically for tight margin budgets. Okay, here's what you actually do. 5 moves in order of priority. Move 1, audit before you panic. Before you do anything else, log into your loan servicer account directly, not an old email, not an assumption, and confirm 3 things: your exact new payment amount, your new due date, and which repayment plan you're currently enrolled in. A huge number of people find out they were auto-enrolled into a plan they didn't choose and didn't need to be on. Do this today if you can. This single step takes 10 minutes and eliminates 90% of the surprise bill problem. Move 2, compare your repayment plan options. Once you know your current plan, compare it against income-driven alternatives. These plans adjust your required payment based on what you actually earn, rather than a flat one-size-fits-all number. For a lot of people, especially those who've had an income change since they first set up their loans, switching plans can meaningfully lower the monthly hit. This isn't a loophole or a trick. It's a legitimate option built into the system that a lot of borrowers simply never revisit after their first year of repayment. Move 3. Build a real, recalculated budget, not a mental estimate. Most people's monthly budget lives in their head, and in your head, budgets always underestimate reality. Sit down this weekend and write out dollar for dollar what's coming in and what's now going out, including the new loan payment. Find $50 to $100 you can redirect before the new payment hits, not after you've already missed it once. The goal here isn't perfection. It's just making sure the new number is accounted for in writing, not floating around as a vague worry in the back of your mind. Move 4. Protect yourself from the debt spiral. This is the one most people miss. Here's the mistake I see constantly. When a new payment breaks the budget, people reach for a credit card or a buy now, pay later plan to cover the gap. It feels like a small decision in the moment, but you're trading a manageable, fixed problem for a more expensive, compounding one, especially with credit card interest rates sitting near record highs right now. Instead, if you're going to fall short one month, prioritize protecting even a small emergency cushion over covering every bill with plastic. A partial payment or a call to your servicer about hardship options is almost always a better outcome long-term. Most servicers have deferment or forbearance options. They're not perfect, but they buy you time without the compounding interest rate. Move 5. Set a recurring 15-minute money check-in. Last one, and it's the simplest. Put a recurring reminder on your phone once a month to check your loan account, your credit card balances, and your budget together in one sitting. The reason this whole situation blindsides people isn't bad decision-making, its lack of visibility. 15 minutes a month is enough to make sure you're never caught off guard by a change like this one again. Those are the 5 moves. Write them down, or better, screenshot the checklist at the end of this video. Let's tie it all together. Millions of student loan borrowers are moving on to new payment terms right now, and it's landing at the same time inflation has ticked back up, credit card debt has hit record levels, and buy now pay later usage has quietly become mainstream. Combined, that's why more than half the country is living paycheck to paycheck. The 5 moves. Audit your loan account today. Compare your repayment plan options. Build a real written budget with the new payment included. Avoid covering the gap with high-interest debt, and set a recurring monthly check-in so you're never blindsided like this again. Look, none of this means you're failing at money. This is a genuinely hard moment for a huge share of the country at the exact same time. And the numbers back that up. The only real mistake here is not looking at it directly. So do one thing today. Log into your loan account and confirm your new number. That's it. That's the whole first step. If this video helped you make sense of what's actually going on with your money right now, hit subscribe, because every week I'm breaking down exactly what's changing and exactly what to do about it. No fear-mongering, no fluff, just the moves that actually matter. And drop a comment below with your new payment amount if you're comfortable sharing. You'd be surprised how many people in the comments are dealing with the exact same thing, and honestly, it helps to know you're not the only one. I'll see you in the next one.